Mga tatawa. I have here my husband's perfume. Pampakalma. This will be my very first podcast. Welcome to Maja Thoughts. Okay guys, welcome to my first ever podcast. It took so long for me to say yes. By the way, I am Marge and this page is to help you and those who need it in the future. Whoever you are, this page is for you. This podcast is for you. Whoever can relate. I hope some of the lessons in my life stories and my experiences will give you the advantages to do better than I did. First, before I tell you the story behind it, I don't want to give names. Tago natin sila sa tunog na ganun lang. Para hindi na din nila maranasan yung mga pinaranas na your past experiences should end on you. Hindi na yun dapat napapasa. Para hindi na nagkakalat ng negativity sa mundo. You know what I am saying, guys. My first podcast would be the last bullying that I experienced from my last company, my corporate job, before I resigned and transitioned to a businesswoman. And what are the lessons and experiences that I gained from that? I created an outline how I can tell this story better, the way it don't sounds like I am still living in a bitter kind of mindset or as if I'm still in unforgiving heart. First, let's dive into the story that make me feel abandoned as a person, like I had to leave all the kind of love for myself. You know, it's a kind of depressions that I've been for many years. The anxiety is there, the sleepless night is there, the overthinking is there, the self-doubt is there, and all the questions that might pop up to my head. Then, as I am transitioning to a new job, I'm also experiencing hardship in dealing with my relationship. My training 7 years of relationship with my boyfriend at the time. You know how hard that was for me. Literally mentally focused, learning all the, basta lahat ng duties and responsibilities ko. As I am enduring the new environment and the pain I am having in the relationship, everything for me is hard. But I'm so blessed with my supervisor and my leader that time, especially sa team namin kasi sobrang understanding nila, they pray for me. They're the most beautiful kind of thing that ever happened to me in that place, yung mga leaders ko. And then, so na-broken hearted ako. Kailangan kong pagsabayin yung trabaho ko. I have to cope kasi syempre kailangan ko rin naman kumita. Kailangan ko pumasok every day while broken hearted. It's my first time to be broken hearted in my whole life, and that's 7 years relationship, and that's hard. And nobody was there to guide me how to handle all my emotions and so on. I was blessed na maraming tao that time that really helped me to... Hindi pala naka-open yung mic, and this is so fun. Maybe because I'm so scared to do this for the first time, I forgot to open the mic. But then let's start. Okay. We became friends. I follow whatever she asked to get me coffee, water, or anything she needs. I'll always let her borrow money from me, and she never pay me. There is one day, nandun yung commissionary, hindi niya pa talaga binaba. Ako pa talaga inutusan niya. Inutangan na niya ako, pero ako pa rin inutusan niya. I keep spending money to buy whatever coffee, dinner, or lunch she needs. We often spend after work together. Minsan, sabay pa kaming umuwi papunta sa sakayan. She keep giving me unsolicited advice. Hindi ko siya hinihingi. But since I feel comfortable towards her that time, at wala akong nakikitang mali sa ginagawa niya. But there are days na hindi ko talaga gustong pag-usapan yung mga bagay na yun, but she keep opening up about it. And then, lagi niya akong tinatag, lagi niya akong sinasharean ng mga quotes for broken-hearted. In my mind that time, I didn't ask about it. And I'm so tired to talk about my ex-boyfriend. Pero paulit-ulit lang siya na, let's talk about it, March. Ganito yung ginawa niya, ganito yung dapat kong gawin because this is the things that she did. Dapat ito din yung gawin ko. And for her, it's fun to talk everything about my misery. Your misery is something to laugh, okay lang. Not until one time, parang na-realize ko na parang sobra na. Pati trabaho ko na hindi naman ako direct reporting sa kanya, pinanghihimasukan na niya. And I chose to distance myself from a lot of people that time because I'm struggling mentally and spiritually. It's just that I'm depressed and I don't want to talk to other people as much as I can. I want to distance myself kasi feeling ko nadadala na lang ako sa agos ng buhay na parang dahil malungkot ako, kinukomfort ako ng iba kahit hindi naman tugma yung personality niya sa personality ko. Hindi naman kami nagba-vibes pero dahil nga mas lungkot ako, parang tinatanggap ko na lang lahat. Then there are days na parang wala na ako sa mood kasi ayoko ng pakiramdam na parang lagi niya akong inuutusan na kumuha ng kape o ng tubig. That's not even in my task as an employee in that company. Hindi naman ako direct reporting sa kanya, and yung mga mas matataas nga sa kanya na supervisors ko, hindi naman ako inuutusan kumuha ng kape at ng tubig. Feeling ko mas malaki naman yung sahod niya kaysa sa akin. Nagpapaaral ako ng kapatid at wala pa naman siyang anak. In my mind, I was just thinking kung itong tao ba na to is responsible sa magbayad ng utang, and hindi na parang magkaibigan tayo pero wag naman yung parang abuso na parang time to time magpapalibre ka, parang time to time mambuburaot ka, from time to time kahit sinabihan ka ng itigil mo na yung mga unsolicited advice mo, ibibigay mo pa din. And may mga times na itatag ka pa talaga niya, yung para bang it's just that I'm broken-hearted, and moving on from a 7 years heartbreak isn't easy. It's hard. Di ba alam niyo yung parang yung sugat, the more na dinudot-dot, kahit lagyan mo ng band-aid, the more na dinudot-dot, gumagaling ba? Di ba hindi? Hindi gumagaling. So for me, that was the reason na ayoko na pag-usapan yung ex ko, pero paulit-ulit na ginagawang topic. And then there was a time I approached her because she kept tagging me from the broken lines, broken hearted quote, and so on. Pero mabait siya. I have no problem kasi mas marami akong bullying na experience na worse, like physical, talagang mentally, physically draining. Itong bullying na to, hindi siya ganun. And there is one time, an event na nangyari. She messaged me. I was tired, emotionally drained because that week was so busy week. She kept sending me posts. She kept giving unsolicited advice, tagging me from a Facebook post. Tapos, dinedma ko lang kahit nagno-notify na. Ginawa niya, sinend niya sa messenger ko yung post na yon, thinking na baka hindi ko nabasa yon or nakita kasi nga nakatag lang ako sa comment section. And I was so exhausted, emotionally and physically drained. And as I opened her message, nakita ko yung post na yon na kung saan niya ako tinag. Sa isip ko, bakit niya kailangan pang isenta, basa ko na. The second time around, I was looking in the quotes. Hindi ko na siya naisip. Umiyak na ako na umiyak at humagulgol ng napakalakas. That was 10 p.m. a Friday evening. I didn't know na sa loob ng 5 buwan na pinilit kong makarecover from brokenness, from being heartbroken, from my past relationship, which is my husband right now. Ganun yung epekto sa akin ng quotes. Parang ilang months kong pinigil na umiyak at feeling ko nakarecover ako at hindi ko na siya namimiss. At parang kaya ko na, naging masaya ako. Then all of a sudden, as I was reading that post and quotes, napaiyak ako ng napaiyak. Kasi umiyak ako from a silent cry to hindi nag-burst out na talaga yung heart ko. And sobrang hindi na kinaya yung iyak. Sobrang ang lakas ng hiyaw ko. Dinig siya sa buong bahay na umiiyak ako. Wala na ako sa focus na, ay, ganito pala yung pag-iyak ko. Sobrang worst na pala. It happened na naririnig pala ng tatay ko yun. It happened na sobrang maapektuhan pala yung tatay ko nun. And I was crying so loud, so hard. Sobrang broken na broken. Iyak kong iyak. Wasak kong wasak ng ilang oras. So, 10 ako umiyak nun. 11, 12, 1, 2. Alas 2 ng madaling araw, dun lang ako tumigil sa pag-iyak. Hindi pa pala sapat yung 5 months to fix the pain of the broken heart. Sobrang nag-struggle yung puso ko, yung lahat ng pagod ng katawan ko, lahat ng pangungulila ng puso ko, lahat ng sakit na tiniis ko ng ilang buwan, sumabog. Sumabog at umiyak ng napakalakas. At yung iyak na yun, naririnig ng tatay ko. At dahil narinig ng tatay ko yung iyak na yun, he blamed himself. In fact kasi, hindi alam kasi ng tatay ko na break na kami ni Rog. Hindi ko sinasabi sa tatay ko yun kasi baka ika-stress niya yun. Kasi magkapangalan sila, magka-birthday sila. Love na love niya yan si Rog. Hindi alam ni Papa. Ang alam ni Papa, nasa ibang bansa si Rog. Or nagtatrabaho, kaya hindi nakakapunta sa bahay. Pero siguro may duda na siya. Ayun yung pinakamasakit na mararanasan ng tatay ko sa akin. It is connected from a previous instances of my life na I was suicidal and nakita ko ng tatay ko na nagbibigti. At that was my first time I saw my Papa crying. Kaya kapag nagsusuicide ako, dapat hindi alam ni Papa yon at hindi niya yun nakikita. Because it can break his heart. And that time was the first time he heard me crying. That's so hard. And there is nothing in his heart and in his mind but to blame himself. He blamed himself to the point na hindi siya kumain at uminom lang siya ng uminom nang walang laman yung tiyan niya. Uminom siya ng uminom. And I know my papa kasi sobrang close talaga kami ng tatay ko. And sa sobrang close namin, alam ko kung kailan siya masasaktan para sa akin at sa hindi. Pagkatapos ko umiyak, sobrang magang-maga yung mata ko. Pumanik ako sa taas ng bahay namin sa second floor. Nakausap ko yung nanay ko in a silent and solemn voice. She said, hindi pa kumain si Papa, uminom na naman. And I know it's exactly because of me. Nakausap ko yung tatay ko before past few days, before nangyari yung araw na yun. Sabi niya nagbabawas na siya ng inom. And then I cried and he blamed himself na parang he is a failure man and a failure father because ayun yung totoo. Ayun ng tatay ko, umiiyak ako. And then na-hospital yung tatay ko kinabukasan nang dahil lang sa sama ng loob. That was the first time na sinugod sa ospital yung tatay ko. Luckily, he is under my dependent sa card ko kasi wala akong savings noong time na yun. Lustay ako eh. Happy-go-lucky ako, libre sa kaibigan. Thank God, may card na ako noong time na yun at under dependent ko siya. At ang dami kong Christian friends and boss at co-office mates na nag-pray para sa akin. And nakalabas ng hospital si Papa after a day na nandoon siya. Grabe din yung buhos ng ulan nun. The only way na nakaligtas yung tatay ko nun is narinig ng kapitbahay namin na Kuya Jong, malalaking lalaki yun, na parang may umiiyak sa kalakasan ng ulan. Sobrang buhos na buhos yung ulan. Sobrang lakas. Nag-iiyakan yung mga anak ni Papa. And he wondered, bakit nag-iiyakan yung mga anak ni Papa? Tapos sinilip niya. Hindi ginagawa ni Kuya Jong yun. Sinilip niya si Papa, tapos binuhat niya. Sakto, halos masira na yung telepono. Kakatawag namin sa ambulance. Sa ambulance that time para may pumuntang ambulance. Tapos binuhat ni Kuya Jong. Nilalagyan na lang ng kutsara yung bunganga ni Papa. And then, habang nasa ambulance siya, wala na siyang malay. Iyak ako ng iyak. Sa lahat ng mga kapatid ko kinakabahan, yung mga kuya ko kinakabahan, pero ako yung iyak ng iyak. Nandun si kuya, umiiyak din naman siya, pero ang wild ko umiyak because sobrang papaskol ako. And that time, I was so thankful sa mga nag-pray para sa akin, sa tatay ko. And na-survive namin yung time na yun. Pagdating namin sa hospital, tumila yung ulan. And then, umukay yung tatay ko. Napigyan siya ng gamot. Habang nasa hospital siya, nakatingin siya sa akin. Ginaganon niya yung buhok ko. As if he is saying, don't cry. Don't cry. It's okay. Papa's here. Don't cry. Papa is here. And I told myself, this will be my last bullying experience. Pero pagkatapos naman ng araw na yun, balik trabaho pa rin ako hanggang sa hindi pa rin ako nag-resign. Inantay ko lang ng ilang buwan bago pa mag-resign. Marami na tong friend na to na ginagawa to annoy me. And I don't associate myself anymore with her. Nagiging civil lang ako, pinapakiusapan ko siya na maayos. Pero parang medyo nababadrip na nga siya sa akin. Kasi parang siguro napansin niya na medyo may something. Actually, it's not her fault. It's my fault. Because I gave that person the authority and signal na to do such thing to me. First is give unsolicited advice. Hindi ko naman hinihingi yung opinion mo, and I remember there were times that I told her to stop, but she chose not to stop. Kasi kala niya hindi ako seryoso. Even my tone of my voice is so serious that time. Kahit it was so serious, hindi niya sineryoso. Second, nasanay siyang mabait lang ako. At hindi lumalabas yung pangil ko or hindi ako nagre-react ng parang pagalit or reaction of uncomfortable with whatever she's doing. Masyado ko siyang nasinanay na mabait lang. Actually, there's nothing wrong with being that kind of person because that's actually me. Hindi naman ako pinalaki ng nanay ko na parang warla sa ibang tao. But it's just that when you notice that there are some people trying to bully you, you should tell and draw a line right away. Oh, this thing you're doing, it's not okay with me. It's bad. But in my case, I was so scared to disappoint a lot of people and to hurt them. Even telling my side of the story or to tell them that it hurts me and it's not okay with me, kahit simpleng ganun lang talagang kinatatakutan ko dati. Because I don't wanna offend anyone. And then, so, na-realize ko, sa dami-dami ng klase ng bullying na na-experience ko, may mga talagang thoughts, suicidal thoughts sa akin. There are also things, mga bullying na so silent like this. You will only notice the kind of bullying that is kapag chinek mo na yung pattern. This person, nasasanay na siya na nakikinig ka. Kasi kapag hindi ka nakinig, she will get angry at you, she will point fingers on you, she will mock you, and control your life. And there are so many kinds of bullying that I experienced in my life. Worse than that. Actually, hindi pa bullying tong na-experience ko kay ate girl. But there are also days na na-realize ko, even this kind of treatment can also be called bullying. And so, I learned that there are types of bullying, not only physical, not verbal, not emotional. There are also kind of bullying like digital, cyber bullying, and not respecting your boundaries and not respecting your decision making. And when they say, you're gonna do this and you obey, but when you draw the line, it's not something that she like it. Kung paano ka nag-respond. And that's then makikita mo yung totoong personality. What's really beneath it, ano ba talaga yung intention ng puso niya? Is she really your friend? Is she really your enemy? Or is she hiding something na kapag beneficial lang sa kanya, nagiging okay ang lahat? And then one thing I realized in this kind of story, actually hindi ko pa siya maisip na bullying. Kahit marami siyang ginawang na ayoko na lang isa-isahin. But this kind of experience gives me the lesson to prioritize the need to tell people when it's hurting, it's hurting. And you have to decide when is the right time to stand up for your rights and enough is enough. There are different kinds of bullying. Sometimes it's beyond your control. I also experience physical bullying, verbal bullying, social bullying. Ito yung mga sabotaging friendship and reputations. Sinisira yung gamit mo. I also experienced that bullying. There are also mocking. Pagtatawanan lang nila kung paano ka naglalakad o paano ka nasasalita. That's very mean to ridicule the way you act or talk. And there are also public humiliation. Yung imamaliitin ka sa harapan ng ibang tao, that's also bullying. Meron ding authority kind of bullying. Like when they are in the power, ayun yung mga gumagamit ng control. And then I asked Google, what are the different kinds of online bullying? Kasi ito yung pinaka-latest. You know, we really have to be thankful nowadays because through the use of social media and internet, dati sobrang, syempre walang proof eh. Ngayon, kapag nakakunan ka ng camera at may ebidensya ka, kulong ka, diba? Dati medyo malalakas kasi wala naman, kahit may magsumbong ka, as long as wala kang ebidensya, matatapang sila, ganun. And there are kinds of online bullying or cyberbullying. It can be harassment, it can be aggressive messages na sinesend sa isang tao. Yung parang flaming, yung it's like in a public forum or comment section, tapos impoprovoke ka, insultuhin ka bilang tao. Tapos, andyan din yung sensitive and embarrassing photos. Yung sinesend yung photos mo or yung messages mo ng wala namang paalam sa'yo. Tapos, sinesend sa friends mo yung mga photos mo. So, that is outing or doxing. Tapos, exclusion. Ay, sobrang dami nito. Exclusion sa panahon ng online social media. Yung parang sa isang group chat, tatanggalin ka para ma-feel mo na hindi ka belong. Tapos, parang isolated ka. Tapos, sila lahat nag-uusap. Lalo na sa mga kabataan sa school, ginagawa yan. Tapos, parang kunyari hindi ka kasali. Para ma-feel na, you're not belong here. You're not included. Kami lang to, hindi ka kasama. Ganun. That's also bullying. Online bullying. At sabi, impersonation. Creating fake accounts or pretending to be someone else to damage their reputation. Sisiraan ka lang. You know, trolling, yung ipoprovoke lang yung emotional response mo to the comment section. Or cyber stalking and shaming. Kasama dito yung mga nagko-comment sa'yo na ang taba-taba mo naman. That's also bullying. Ang dami. Tapos, revenge porn. Ayun yung mga kadalasan sa movie, yung parang hihingan ka ng nudes mo mag-video ka, sendan mo ko ng ganito pa, isa pang video mo para lang makita na hindi namin ipopost yung nudes mo sa online. So that's also bullying. And there are so many kinds of bullying nowadays where it's barely and hard for us to notice those kinds of bullying online. Verbal or physical or kahit sa school, sa offices, meron yan. Kahit saan meron yan. It's easier for us to notice and identify that the difference between bullying and what is fun and jokes and what is insult or not, what is acceptable to unacceptable. The easier for us to identify the kind of bullying is easier also for us to give heads up to those people who are doing that. At least heads upan mo siya kapag hindi pa rin talaga siya tumigil sa ginagawa niya at ginawa mo na yung part mo na i-heads up siya, oy, bawal yan, mali yan, hindi yan tama. Pero patuloy pa rin yung ginagawa. Then that become your story. That become your evidence. That become your winning piece. Diba? Because we can't live in a world where we choose to keep silent on what hurting other people and what unacceptable and then expect this world to be healing. This world won't heal. And speaking of healing, sharing this kind of story through social media and through this platform isn't for me to, kasi unforgiving ka pa rin. Those people who will tell me that I'm still in my unforgiveness space, I've already forgive that person. Forgiving that person doesn't really necessarily mean I have to hide the lessons, how to keep going on their own experience. So, hashtag no names, just lessons. Kung ako, yung friend na to, napatawad ko na siya. But it's just that we don't have that opportunity na makita ulit at makapag-usap. At siguro kahit din sabihin ko sa kanya na this is actually what happened, hindi niya kasi alam kung ano yung nangyari sa tatay ko. Or why suddenly parang bigla na lang ako umalis. Kasi feeling ko that time was not the right time for me to tell her na this is actually what happened. Muntik na mamatay yung tatay ko just because I told you once, twice na itigil mo na yan, ayoko na ng ganitong topic, ayoko na ng pinag-uusapan yan, pero makulit ka, you skip insisting na kailangan makita ko yun, mabasa ko yun, tapos ito yung nangyari. But for me, siguro mas okay na din na hindi ko na rin namin napag-usapan because I have this kind of healing in my mind. Pero in the near future, kung magkita kami, siguro I can tell 100% that I'm a better person now. I don't wish harm, the same harm as I experienced from other people. I don't wish them na maranasan ng iba because I'm a better person now. Hindi na ako tulad ng ganun. And wala na rin naman yung tatay ko. Pero hindi siya namatay doon sa part na yun. Namatay yung tatay ko sa pandemic. But this lesson, this story of her make me realize that sometimes the only thing you can do is to voice out your own opinion because your own opinion is your power. No one can bully you unless you allow it. And if there are some people who still bullying you right after you say stop and then it's no longer a problem, that will become your story. If you're also experiencing the same hardship that I experienced, I hope this video will find you and comforts you as well na hindi ka nag-iisa. May mga taong naka-experience din yan, hindi para sabihin na mas malala yung mga kwento ko at mas malala yung mga experiences ko kesa sa'yo. Hindi tayo nagpapataasan at nagpapalalaan dito ng experiences sa buhay. It's just that when you know that you are struggling with your mental health and coping with a lot of life struggles and experiences in your life, you should know na meron ding mga tao na naka-experience niyan at alam sakto kung ano yung sakit na nararamdaman mo. And how can you cope with that kind of hardship by just telling them it hurts and finding the right community that can lift you and give you not lessons, at least moral support or just a simply hug. Because sometimes heart only needs a one hug and a comforting sounds that can give the soul a chance to breathe. What will you get from my stories? Know your identity. You should know first yourself. Be firm. Minsan kasi sa sobrang saya or sobrang lungkot, we let other people define what kind of person we are. Kapag hindi well-established yung personality mo at hindi mo ganun kakilala yung sarili mo, there are big chances na mabilis ka lang mag-go with the flow. In my case, kilala ko naman yung sarili ko. Pero, nung nawala yung boyfriend ko, dumaan ako sa shaking na nauga talaga ako. And then, that's the time na nawala ako sa mga prinsipyo kinatatayuan ko, sa kung ano klaseng kaibigan yung mga gusto ko. Lahat na lang na lumalapit sa akin, I consider them as a friend. And hindi ko na in-identify kung is this person good for my mental health? Is this person really the kind of friend? Okay, let's say mabait sila. They are friendly, they are entertaining, they are there for you. But it doesn't mean na lahat ng tao na nasa tabi mo is beneficial sa'yo. In short, parang ano yan hindi lahat ng pintong nagbubukas kailangan pagbuksan mo. May mga kaibigan na papasok sa buhay mo, but sometimes, kapag hindi firm yung foundation mo, madadala ka sa agos. And there are so many instances dito sa kwento na to na because they are fun to be with, pero mahilig pala silang uminom, which is hindi naman pala ako umiinom talaga. Dahil lang sa peer pressure, hindi naman nila ako pressure, pero yung parang sa akin na lang, natakot na lang ako na hindi ako hindi ako friends, parang ako lang yung hindi iinom sa grupo, so makikisama din ako. Para in lang din ako, onting yaya. Tara, staycation tayo, tara, punta tayo dito, punta tayo dyan. So, go with the flow naman ako. My time in that place reminds me na ang dami palang mga tao sa paligid na dapat at tama kong samahan, pero hindi ko sinamahan. Sila yung mga tao na dapat, na good sa mental health ko, na will encourage me. And then, actually, nung medyo natatauhan na ako, meron akong friend doon, and sobrang bait niya. Tawa lang kami ng tawa lagi pag magkasama kami. May mga panahon na dumadaan na pala ako sa depression, anxiety. Hindi ko pa rin nasasabi sa kanila. And they don't have the idea about it. Kapag may mga times na feeling nila, lumalayo na ako. Feeling nila parang galit na ako sa kanila. Pero actually hindi. And sometimes there are friends that is really willing to help us. But we just don't give them chance to help us. And in my case, ang mga taong sobrang nagpahalaga sa akin doon is yung, at sobrang hindi ko makakalimutan, lahat ng pag-guide nila, lahat ng prayer nila, lahat ng pag-lead nila is yung dalawa kong lead supervisor. Isang babae, isang lalaki. They keep talking to me. They always ask kung kamusta na ako, anong balita sa akin, anong news sa akin. Kinakamusta talaga nila ako. They are so intentional. They are not just there for me nung hardest moments ko. Mas marami ako natutunan sa kanila kaya sa mga kinasama kong nasa mali. And sometimes it takes time and it needs a lot of stupid actions and decisions in life for us to really understand and truly see what is the real friendship, what is beneficial for us and what is not. Most of the time kasi matigas lang tayo. Gusto natin yung mga happy, fun, lucky, ganun ako nung nagsisimula ako sa company na to. Dahil broken hearted ako, mas pinili ko yung mga kaibigan na masarap kasama. Di boring na night out after office hour, diba? Habang sa dumadami kami ng dumadami, may mga inuman. Hindi naman sila yung parang walwal. Siyempre mga naman sila, mga professional naman sila. Pero may mga iilan sa kanila na mahirap. Then, i-admit na di naman sa sinasabi kong masama silang tao. It's just that my principles, the kind of person I am, don't meet. Hindi kayo magkasing ng wavelength. It's just that magkaiba kayo ng prinsipyo, magkaiba kayo ng humor. Later on in life, makikita mo na the more you see your priorities in life, the more you will see what kind of persons or what kind of friendship, what kind of friends, what kind of influence you want in your life. And the choices of your friends will determine how well you're going to reach your desired goal and destinations. So, in my case, I no longer blame this friend of mine for whatever she did. Pero sobrang lesson sa akin na yung mga lessons na natutunan ko dito is una, parehas lang naman kayong empleyado. So, kung whether malaki yung sahod mo o hindi, if it's not necessary to, I'm not playing rich that time. Hindi naman ako parang yaman-yamanan. It's just that nung time na mga panahon na yon, medyo generous yung heart ko. Masaya ako mag-bless ng tao. Kahit hanggang ngayon ganun pa rin naman. Masaya ako na nililibre ko sila. Pero may certain point na kailangan alam mo sa sarili mo when enough is enough. Para hindi nasasana yung mga tao sa paligid mo na ginagawa mo yun. Kasi binibigyan mo sila ng dependent mindset sa'yo. sa'yo. Ganon. At kapag parang nag-stop, nag-set ka ng boundaries, doon nagkakaroon ng questionable thinking sa kanila or questionable thoughts sa kanila na ano yung ginawa ko? May mali ba ako? So, ayun yung isang pagkakamali ko sa mga time na yun. I love to bless, I'm so generous, but I don't set boundaries. Second, know your place. Hindi ka katulong ng lahat. You are hired there to do your job. It's good na magpakita ka ng kabutihan sa iba. Give a little kindness. Pero you know naman kung kailan sumusobra na. Kapag hindi na siya part ng trabaho mo, dapat hindi mo talaga ginagawa. Like, pakuha nga ako ng tubig. Siguro ang ang layo nun, parang mga 50 steps. Ay, hindi naman. 40 step balikan. Kukuha lang ng tubig. Kukuha ng kape. Like, even my manager siguro, hindi naman nag-utos sa akin kahit minsan ikuha ko sila ng kape. Ganun. O ikuha sila ng tubig. Pero alam mo yun, tsaka friendship should give and take. Hindi yung parang utusan kanya tapos ikaw siya na lang yung nag-uutos. Pero pag oras na ng singilan or oras na ikaw na yung hihingi ng favor, parang wala na. And borrowing money, ito yung sobrang dami kasing, nung nasa corporate job ako, talaga hindi ako nakaipon. Kasi nga, mahilig din ako magpautang. Mahilig talaga akong magpautang at magbigay. And sa karamihan so far ng mga nangutang sa akin, wala pang bumalik kahit isa na nagbayad ng utang. And sometimes kasi minsan tayo na ngayon nagpautang, tayo pa yung takot maningil. And ayun yung mahirap siguro na kailangang iwasan. Kailangan, before ka magpautang, either kaya mo na bang i-release yung pera na yun. May mga times kasi talaga na parang, nangutang siya. Layo pa sahod eh. Pamasahe ko na yun, pauwi, ganun. So, titipirin mo yung supposedly nakabudget mo na pera sa ibang bagay. Tapos ayun na ipapamasahe mo. Tapos yung inutang niya, kahit ipaalala mo. Ako naniniwala ako na maraming klase ng tao na katulad ko na sila yung nagpautang, sila pa yung hirap maningil. And parang wala lakas ng loob maningil. That's one of my problem na ino-overcome ko rin right now. Kasi may mga tao talaga na siguro hindi naman nila intention talaga na mag-take advantage. Pero if they are really a good payer and kung meron talaga silang dignity na iniingatan at they're a good person, hindi na nila kailangang hintayin na sila pa yung masingilin. Sila na yung magkukusang magbayad. Siguro ayun. Kung hindi ka naman tagapagmana ni Henderson, at alam mo naman talagang walang pera, kahit gaano siguro kayo ka-close. Unless, yung reason niya ng pangungutang is sobrang wala na siyang pera. And wala na siyang pagkain. I remember nung nandun ako sa company na yun, person na nag-resign na siya, tapos wala na siyang back pay or wala na siyang sinasahod. Tapos, nanghihiram siya ng pera sa akin. Di ko siya pinahiram. Sabi niya, pangkain lang, pang lunch. Di ko siya pinahiram. Binilan ko siya ng pagkain. And, wag na rin natin pangalanan kung sino yun, di ba? Pero what I mean, at sobrang nakakagaan sa loob na this is not a flex. I'm just saying na sometimes, kapag alam mo na kaya mo naman, ibigay na lang. Lalo na kung pagkain lang naman yung kailangan, ibigay mo na. Ganun, huwag na ang pangutang. Pero may mga bagay kasi na pangkapilang niya, o kaya naman tinatamad lang siyang tumayo para pumunta sa locker niya, para kunin yung pera niya, pambili niya ng pagkain. Uutangan ka pa niya, tapos mamaya, sabi mamaya, hindi naman ibibigay. Ayun. So, medyo ingat sa mga ganun. Kasi may mga ganun talaga na sa ilang years ako, palipat-lipat ako ng company to gain experience and skills. Ilang beses ako nautangan, di pa ako nabayaran kahit minsan. Ay, may nagbayad pala isa. Lalaki. Nangutang siya ng pang-gala niya. Nagbayad naman siya. Isa sa mga pagkakamali ko, late ko na natutunan sa life ko is yung maging strong yung personality ko to say no and to be firm in what kind of principles and kind of person I am. The truth is, I am a people pleaser before. Whatever makes me happy din kasi naalam ko makakapagpasaya sa iba. Talagang pinupush ko kahit maglalaba ako ng Sabado. When that person, wala akong gagawin sa bahay, nabubulod ako sa bahay sa samahan. Because of too much love, I always consider other people's happiness more than my own happiness and my own pahinga. That's not bad. Actually, binibless ni God yung mga ganong desire sa puso mo na gusto mong tumulong at magpasaya na ibang tao more than yourself. But sometimes, kung alam mo naman na parang medyo mas importante yung susuotin mo, pahinga. Diba? Because you're also accountable with your body. Sasamahan mo nga tong friend na to, pero puro lang siyang chika or negativity towards others yung ikukwento niya. Parang sometimes, our intention to help people also ruin us. And sometimes, there are people who don't need help or salvation. They need to learn on their own. Looking back, ang pinaka-regrets ko sa mga panahon na to is mas priority kong i-bless yung ibang tao kaysa sa tatay ko, sa nanay ko, at sa mga kaibigan ko, sa mga taong tumulong sa akin mga panahon wala pa ako. There are few individuals that deserve more than anything else from me because they are the ones who helped me from my low of lowest. Sila yung mga mas deserving na sana tinitreat ko sila ng kape. And looking back, I realized I wasted a lot of money to please other people na hindi naman well-deserving. And now, parang ngayon ako naghahabol na makabawi sa ilang mga tao na totoong minahal ako at hindi ako pinabayaan. So, I hope na isa ka rin sa mga tao na hindi dumating sa sitwasyon na ma-realize mo na sana mas priority mong bumawi sa mga taong nandiyan sa mga oras na kailangan mo sila kaysa sa mga taong wala namang ambag. But I'm not saying huwag kang tumulong sa mga sa mga walang ambag. Iba ang pagtulong sa pagiging people pleaser. Ganun. At may mga tao din naman ako natulungan before na hanggang ngayon tinatrato nila akong pamilya at minamahal nila ako. So, balance lang. Matutunan natin na i-balanse yung mga bagay-bagay kung paano magdesisyon ng tama. Bye! Tananan podcast! Oh my gosh.